We really want to talk about the things that are affecting our industry, both in the short term and in the long term.
Regardless of who wins the election, how do you see markets developing, I guess, later on this year?
Well, first, let me say I'm an optimist about inflation right now. I think a lot of people are confused by the seasonality that we have in inflation. Don't look at 1 month to the next, look at 1 month versus the previous year, and you won't be confused by the seasonality. And that means inflation will come down, and I think the Fed is going to actually acknowledge that finally, and we'll see some cuts this year.
You think we will see cuts?
I think we will, yeah.
What are you guys doing when it comes to recruiting and hiring and trying to figure out what's next?
The one thing where we've really pivoted over the last 4 or 5 years is we're looking for people that are just really bright, really hardworking, that possess an intellectual curiosity, that if they put in any situation, if they can evidence this in prior roles, they're going to succeed. So you don't need a person with a specific background.
Investor sentiment about outsourcing versus keeping things in-house. Again, do they care?
5, 6 years ago, when we started the multi-manager hedge fund and clients would come in, we would talk about how we have our accounting functions, shadow admin, outsourced. They couldn't understand why we would do that. Like, why are you spending the extra money to do that? Why don't you have a team in-house? It's just interesting that the sentiment has really turned where, all the surveys that come back now, clients really do expect to see some level of independence with the oversight on the shadow accounting side of things.
You outsource the task, not the oversight and the
That's right.
responsibility.
Yeah.
Will they ever remove the debt ceiling?
At some point, if we get out of a position of paralysis, it'd be just good to get rid of that debt ceiling, because it does seem to me that that's one of the biggest risks for the global the financial system. If the U.S. dollar is suddenly perceived, and U.S. Treasuries are no longer perceived as safe assets because of some political crisis that spins out of control about the debt ceiling, that I think could be a shock, a really bad shock to the whole system. So I hope we do get rid of the debt ceiling.
It's been wonderful to see you get together, to talk, to share ideas, to listen to our panelists. Thank you again and have a lovely evening.